Ooh, welcome to That's Good Broncos, a podcast with Will Keys and me, Brandon Perna, who are being injected with hope because the football season's over. The Chiefs have enjoyed being champions for one day, and that's all they get. 2 days. Season's over.
Has it been 2 days already?
Nobody's a Super Bowl champion anymore at this point in the season. All records are the same, and now the Broncos are top of the division again.
Yeah, they are tied for first place in the AFC West, and I suspect they'll stay there for a while.
I do too. At least 6 months, or roughly exactly 6 months. There's a lot of stuff happening with the Broncos. We took last week off, unexpected. I decided last minute I didn't want to fucking podcast, so we didn't. But I'm recharged. I'm refueled. I'm ready to talk about Garrett Bolles. They might be trying to trade him, or they might not be. Depends on who you ask. Sean Payton's starting to, or is going to assemble his coaching staff now that he's done doing TV. Guess he had to finish out the Fox contract, which was kind of weird last week. And Will has an inside lead on one of the coaches that is coming in. So we will tell you all about that right now, though. Benchwarmerbrew.com. Don't forget my coffee company. We got the Losers Blend, which is for fans of 31 NFL fan bases. Although I just said we're all even. Losers Blend. It is my medium dark roast. Check it. Benchwarmerbrew.com. When you support that coffee company, you support me, and we donate 1% of the sales to the Alzheimer's Association. My page, my fundraising page there. So we were able to link that up recently, and we've got some shirts there, all sorts of shit. But okay, Will, how are you?
I'm all right. I had a fun time watching the game for about 59 of the 60 minutes.
Yeah.
I think like most of the football watching public, I would have been okay if the Chiefs had stopped Jalen Hurts on the last drive.
Yeah.
In kind of a more organic fashion. But yeah, seeing the game and the way it did was just an unsatisfying conclusion in that you just don't want to see the game end on like 3 kneel downs and a kick. Obviously, you don't want to see a game decided on a very, I don't say ticky-tacky penalty, but not an egregious hold at all.
No.
And when you consider what they had or had not been calling up to that point in the game, it felt very arbitrary, and I think like Greg Olsen said, I don't know how you call that there. Like you have to have a sense of the moment, and to see that happen in the AFC Championship game. Although you can make a case that the late hit was way more well deserved in terms of the flag than the hold on Bradbury. But a really disappointing ending to an all-time entertaining Super Bowl.
Yeah, it was a fun game.
Obviously, fuck the Chiefs, of course, obligatory.
There is that aspect of it as well. Yeah, it's like if Mahomes would have thrown the ball right away to Juju Smith-Schuster, if it was a quick pass and there's the contact there, sure, it's fine. But it was a throwaway that Chiefs got bailed out because of a little bit of a hold. I love the screenshots of the jersey being tugged. Like it was like Juju was pulled down to the ground. If you look at that screenshot, according to some people. But like everybody's instant reaction to that, I think that are legitimate fans of football and didn't have like a rooting interest. Was just like, why the fuck did this flag get thrown here?
Right.
It's like Field Yates, McAfee, Rich Eisen, all the anybody all these guys who talk about it.
Damashek, Bill Simmons.
Yeah.
All those guys.
It's it felt so like unanimous that people were upset about it, except for Chiefs fans, of course, which like if I were a Broncos fan in the situation, I'd be like, yeah, well, we got away with one, but whatever. But it's over. We're going to move on from it.
It's over.
It's see, like, and that's, I've talked a little bit about it with Tom, but what really bothers me is like pointing that out and not liking it is not saying that the Chiefs didn't deserve to win that game. But that's like the conclusion people get to for some reason.
Right.
They played a great second half. They earned the victory. They were in scoring position with or without that penalty. They still would have gotten the field goal.
Yeah. And let's keep in mind that was a third down.
Yeah. They would have just kicked it there.
The field goal.
It would have given the Eagles time for a drive and to get back into field goal range.
Yeah, to kick or score a touchdown.
Yeah, or score a touchdown. I honestly don't think the Eagles would have, because I just felt like the momentum was in the Chiefs' favor. But we don't know. We don't know. And that's like all we're saying. And it's not to try and discredit the Chiefs, but when you are a Broncos fan and when you do shit on the Chiefs at every chance you get, I understand why people would be upset with me or annoyed with me. That said, we can move on to the Broncos.
I suppose we have to.
Yeah. Did it feel weird to have Sean Payton like at the Super Bowl week?
Yeah, it was. I remember watching. I didn't watch like a ton of pregame, but I think with a couple hours up to the game, I just put on Fox and let it run. And yeah, just going to Sean Payton in the studio while he's already got a Broncos job and hearing him break down the Super Bowl. Although he did make one of the best points, I think, of the week, in that people were ignoring the kicking game or just special teams in general. And this game came down to Butker misses a field goal early on. B, the Kadarius Toney punt return ends up being the longest in Super Bowl history. We still haven't had a punt return touchdown in a Super Bowl, which is kind of strange.
That is crazy.
And then, you win the game on a Butker field goal. Not a long one, but the kicking game factored in. And I think Payton made a good point of that. And when you say the special teams are going to factor in, it usually means that the Chiefs are going to have the advantage because Dave Taub is elite special teams coach. Butker has been shaky all season, but he made a kick when it mattered. But yeah, I think if we don't get Rob Gronkowski too, like Sean Payton teased, I think he belongs in the hot seat already.
Boom.
Before he even coaches a game.
And also like the Kadarius Toney return was set up by just a shitty 38-yard punt.
Yeah.
Eagles punter 38 yards. To be like, to put that in perspective, I can punt a football 38 yards. So it was a factor. I also like Sean Payton talking about that because special teams have been so bad for the Broncos over the last several years, or at least just uninspiring.
I don't remember the last time they were good.
For Jordan Norwood in Super Bowl 50.
Yeah.
And McManus in Super Bowl 50. Was that the last time? Like they felt like pretty good in all phases?
I think so.
The amount of people who were asking me if Gronk was really coming to the Broncos was very funny to me. I hope, obviously, we would take Gronk, but
I'll take him.
At this point, I just have to chalk that up to as a joke, a bit, kind of funny. No, I mean, it actually wasn't really funny.
I thought Broncos was kind of funny.
See, I don't know. I am excited for Sean Payton.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know if I like kind of the attention him being at Super Bowl week brought, but it just feels weird to have your head coach and he's not here putting together the staff. And I know he's talked about the plan is to be thorough or take their time with the interviews. Like he's about hiring the right guys who want to come in and teach. Slow to hire, slow to fire. I think he said some shit like that. So I like all of it, but it did feel weird. It's just different. I don't know if it's bad or it's good, but it's like, I want the coach here. I want shit to be going on. Like I want to know who the defensive coordinator is. I want to know who all these guys are, but we're just waiting. So
I don't care. I don't like as long as they're here by training camp.
As long as we have coaches by September,
I guess they should be here by
good.
OTAs. Maybe that'd be good. You'd want a staff to be here by maybe the draft, free agency, so you can pick a player that fits a scheme. But who really cares? I guess we do have some staff news that we can talk about.
Sure.
I'll start with this. Former Broncos offensive coordinator Justin Outten is out. 10. He's going to the Titans as a running back, running game coordinator. And also, I think this is Mike Kliss added that he had a nice couple games as Broncos play caller at the end of the season, which he did.
Yeah. I'm laughing at it because those 2 games felt so refreshing as Broncos fans.
Yeah, he called the plays.
If you're on the outside looking in, and Outten was the offensive coordinator, right, this season?
Yeah.
For the whole season. Hackett started calling plays. But if you're looking at the Broncos, 1, the run game fucking sucked most of the season. 2, to say this guy was good 2 games, it sounds so bad.
It does.
I get the optimism there, and I think Outten is going to a place where they can run the football. They already know how to run the football. I think he can make a positive impact there. I think he'll be good. But saying, hey, that team was good for 2 weeks at the end, and he was kind of calling plays there versus the previous 16 weeks when he was on staff and was having input and was the offensive coordinator. It wasn't good. I like the spin. But again, we know the situation. I hope he's well. I think Derrick Henry will make his life a little easier, and they'll get more than 20-yard runs week 1. But good. What else do we got, Will? Who's the guy you know? Why don't you give us the inside deets?
Yeah. Okay. I don't have many, but per sources, I don't know whose sources, but Arch Manning's high school offensive coordinator, Logan Kilgore, is joining Sean Payton in Denver. Kilgore helped Arch Manning surpass his uncle Payton and Eli's school passing touchdown records. Manning threw for 34 scores against 2 interceptions under Kilgore's direction in 2022. I know this guy because he went to my high school and he was in a class with my brother and he was a quarterback there. I think he went to Middle Tennessee, wherever the Blue Raiders are. And he briefly had like a cup of coffee with the Saints, I want to say in 2014. Obviously didn't stick around and has been coaching ever since. But yeah, I thought that was a cool thing. Obviously the people are going to make a connection between Kilgore and Arch Manning.
Really?
But I have to tell you, we already have enough connections to Arch Manning to the point
we got Payton, and now we got his coach.
Yeah. I think we should advocate for whenever Arch comes out, that's the year the draft should be abolished. And it should just be a free agent frenzy where the kids pick where they want to go.
Yeah. You know, what if the plan is this, though?
Okay.
What if the plan is just for Arch Manning to be a bad college football quarterback? So nobody wants him. And then the Broncos, they draft him in like the 6th round.
Okay. You think that's going to happen?
I say yes. Have him play poorly. Where's he going? Texas?
Texas, yeah.
Yeah, they won't notice. They haven't had good play for a while.
Shit for a while.
He should look really good like as his first season, okay?
Uh-huh.
And then be bad. I just want the stock to go down.
The Rosen arc.
Yes. That's a way to do it. And then you get it. Because if he knows he's going to go to the Broncos, then there's no risk in playing poorly.
Yes. What if he just learns to be a bad quarterback?
Shh. No. You're practicing all the things not to do. Exactly how Pat Shurmur would want you to do it.
Can't he just pull an Eli?
Yeah.
Like I don't think the Chargers are going to have the
I'm
number
going
one
to play
overall
for
pick.
these 31 teams.
Yeah. I mean, that I don't see why not. Maybe that's why the Broncos are trying to allegedly trying to stockade some draft capital.
Yeah.
So I've got a rumor afoot, and I wanted to address it. Let's start. How should we? Okay, this involves 3 people that have all been on the show, so they're all our friends, I think.
Yeah, no, we love them all. It's just information.
It's just information.
Just conflicting information. It doesn't mean we're shitting on one person or the other or saying something's true and something's not true.
We're just laying out the timeline of events. Okay, so Mario Vitanze, who is the what's his role with the team? Or I guess he's not technically with the team.
Bodywork. He's a chiropractor by trade. He has worked on my body. He's traveled with the team the last couple of years. He knows Garrett Bolles very well. Yeah. He knows a lot of players very well. He's a very likable guy. He engages in conversation and he talks to players. Like if I were their chiropractor, their bodywork dude, I would be too timid to talk to him and form real relationships.
Yeah.
Like Mario knows these guys and he legit, I think, becomes, I don't know if it's like friends. He definitely makes friends with some players, but he builds like good relationships with them. So when he says some shit, I trust it.
Okay, so that's good context for what we're about to say. This is what he tweeted. There's a big name Denver Bronco on the trade block. The team is going to shop him around, get a sense of his value, and if the price is right, they'll pull the trigger.
Boom.
The team is desperate for more draft picks, and the thinking is that this player should lead to a good return. And so Ben Albright, also been on the show, went on the radio and noted that the player in that Mario is referencing is left tackle Garrett Bolles. So that was out there.
Yep.
And then Zach Stevens from DNVR, also been on the show, good guy, said on Twitter, per source, there has been zero talk within the Broncos organization regarding Garrett Bolles potentially being traded this offseason. And I think Albright said something back about semantics, not really taking a shot at anybody, but I believe both of them in what they heard. And this is what kind of frustrates me about insider talk and insider speak, is that I don't know who's like reading between the lines and who's just telling you what the source gave back to you. And once the rumor's already there, it's like, do you think a source is going to corroborate this information and say, yeah, he is on the block? No, they're going to say, of course he's not. So I don't know who to believe here. I think they both were – I think they're both telling the truth, honestly, in terms of what they heard. And I don't know. I wouldn't be no, I would be surprised if he's on the block, to be honest.
I think –
I don't – I believe it's happening.
I don't know.
I'm surprised.
Yeah, it's like because the only reason you'd be really trading him is to free up some cap space and get some draft capital. And you have to believe by doing those two things, you can, one, replace him more for a cheaper deal. So there's got to be a rookie tackle in this draft they think they can get with whatever they are projecting they can bring back from a Garrett Bolles trade.
Yes.
Because you're not going to go into free agency and find a better tackle at a cheaper price. You might find a comparable guy, but it's going to probably be even more expensive than Garrett Bolles because who are the options out there? I don't even know who's
I guess Orlando Brown's free agent.
The Chiefs are not going to let him go, though. I'm like,
no, but that's true about any good tackle.
Yeah.
It's like there's a reason that they don't become available because they play a really important position on the football field.
Yeah.
They're like quarterbacks in that you pay them and you keep them there as long as you can, and they just don't become available if they're good.
Yeah, Orlando Brown, he's not leaving. Although if the Broncos took him, oh my God, yes.
Guys that are really good in the Super Bowl.
Is David Bakhtiari a free agent? But even him, even if he is,
I don't know.
He's very injury prone, right?
Right. Which I don't know if he can say that about Bolles, a guy who was hurt last year. But before that, he played 14 games, 15 games, 16, 16, 16 games.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You got right tackle McGlinchey maybe leaving the 49ers. Yeah. I don't see David Bakhtiari on here. Why do I think he was a free agent? I don't know. But here's what I was going to go back to is, I think if Mario's putting that out there, then he's gotten that information directly from Garrett Bolles.
I agree. Yeah, so he wouldn't make it up.
Maybe there has been talks, or maybe they talked to Bolles. Maybe it's like come at him with a contract restructuring, and he doesn't want to do it. Like there could be a lot of information we don't have there, but like if they're saying that, if he's saying that, then I believe that they're considering it. But again, like any of these scenarios and situations, it's about somebody wanting that player and wanting them enough to give you what you're going to ask. What would Garrett Bolles even bring in? Like, that's the real question.
I don't know. The Broncos don't have a first or second rounder. You have to think that he'd get a second rounder.
Yeah, anything less than a second rounder, it's not worth it. Like, he was a first round draft pick. You extended him because he started playing like a first round tackle.
Right.
Having a hole at tackle is not a fun game to play.
No.
I think the risk of losing him until we know more doesn't outweigh the reward at this point.
Here's a good thought though. Like, he hasn't played well, particularly without Mike Munchak. Right. And we didn't get a good sample size in 5 games this year before he got hurt. Like so many other players did this year. Another thing too is he's going to be 31 this year, which is not old for a tackle, because you have guys playing into their late 30s if you're good enough. But they drafted him as kind of a reason I didn't like the pick when it happened. Not that I know what I'm talking about, because I wanted O.J. Howard, the tight end. But he was a 25-year-old rookie coming out of Utah. Right. And he wasn't a finished product. Like, he was still committing a lot of penalties in the Pac-12. And obviously, like, he's a beast and very mobile and versatile. But, like, damn, drafting a 25-year-old guy is not like a, instant Pro Bowler. It's tough.
Yeah, I didn't feel good about any of that draft until like 48 hours afterwards. Because
that draft was awful.
Yeah. Like at the time, like before, when the Broncos were on the clock for Drew Lock, I was tweeting, "Don't take a quarterback here. Don't take a quarterback here." And then they did. And at the time, and like, I like what Garrett Bolles developed into. I like that he worked at getting better, and he did. But I think like them taking him over Ryan Ramczyk at the time didn't make sense. And it was,
Ramczyk was taken by Sean Payton.
Yep.
And Payton, I mean, it seems like he knows what he's doing with they drafted Teron Armstead, right?
Yeah.
He's put together, he's made some nice finds on the offensive line, including Zach Strief, who they brought in. He was like an undrafted guy or a 7th rounder maybe, that obviously turned into a kind of a long-term guy on that offensive line for New Orleans.
Yeah. Well, if they make that line good, It's gonna make everything
game over for the rest of the NFL.
It'll and it's not to say that the line was like the worst line this year.
No, they're like
take,
below average.
I think one of the few things that will guarantee what am I trying to say? They have to have like a top 5 offensive line, in my opinion, to be successful with Russell Wilson.
I wouldn't go that far.
When I say top 5 offensive line, I don't just mean pass protection. I mean, this has got to be a line like the Eagles where they are dominant in the run game and they pass protect well. Because if you do those two things, one, the run game sets up Russell Wilson for success. That's just how he's built as a QB. But 2, if he has time, more time than most other quarterbacks, he's going to find guys.
Yeah.
It just takes him longer to find guys.
I don't think I wouldn't go. Well, if you want the Eagles offensive line, give
me Philly's line.
They'll be the number 1 offensive line in the NFL if we're comparing them to the Eagles. Yeah, I think if you can have like a top 12 offensive line, I think you're set. I'm not arguing like top 5 would be great. But we'll see.
If you had to have a top 5 offensive line or a top 5 defense, what are you taking?
Top 5 defense, I think. I don't know. Where is the offensive line?
We had a top 5 defense. We just had a top 5 defense.
I know, but what's the trade-off?
You have
to say like a bottom 15 defense or a top 5 offensive line or a top 5 defense or a bottom 15.
What I didn't tell you was you could have had a top 6 defense.
You son of a bitch. I think watching the Super Bowl made me like, you're always like, okay, what positions are important to building a football team? Oh, it just turns out you have to be good everywhere.
Yeah.
To win a Super Bowl. It's like, okay.
All of them.
Ironically, I guess the Chiefs were, I don't know if the Chiefs are a good model. But if you look at the Eagles, they're pretty much elite everywhere except like, I don't know that they like their linebackers. I mean, not like Hassan Reddick, who's obviously great, but their inside linebackers, like their coverage linebackers, they're not like stars or anything. And their safeties, like Reed Blankenship and I guess CJ Gardner-Johnson's kind of a safety. Is he a nickelback?
Yeah, I think it's like he plays like both kind of, but
yeah,
I think they were using him more as a safety this year.
Okay. Yeah, but like, where were the Eagles deficient at all?
Nowhere.
It's like you have to have good running backs, I think. But you also can't spend money on running back, which is kind of and tricky.
Actually, if you want to make an argument for an area that kind of got exposed in the Super Bowl, would be running back. Like, where was Miles Sanders?
Nowhere.
Yeah. Kenneth Gainwell
didn't gain so well, did he?
No, it was just those two positions. They didn't have a guy to kind of lean on. But I mean, they still moved the ball. Like, it was hard because Dallas Goedert was really good. But it is the linebackers, and the Chiefs conversely have they have great linebacking core.
Yes.
And
which you saw with Bolton.
Could have been
a couple plays.
MVP. Like, if that incomplete pass was ruled a
I'm still shocked that they didn't call that a fumble.
I didn't think it was a catch.
I didn't think so live.
I didn't think so looking at the replay. Had if they had ruled Devontae Adams catch a catch, then I would have seen it go that way.
Devontae Smith,
Devontae Smith, yeah.
Weird.
But you've got to be good on every level. Both teams had great offensive lines, and both teams' offensive lines got helped a lot by the field condition.
Right. I think more so, and this is not like this is the lucky Chiefs, but like I think the way that the Eagles tried to rush Patrick Mahomes, like seriously didn't work with those field conditions because they were trying to get around the edge and trying to use their speed.
Yeah, to push him in.
Right. And to kind of make him have to move up with that ankle, whether or not it was hurt. I'm not convinced. But, to stop Jalen Hurts, you can't just get around the edge, so he's going to run. You have to play like kind of a mush rush where you're not, relying on traction to get down the field. You're just kind of, clogging the pocket, I guess. And and I think too, it sounded like the Chiefs were just better in terms of finding the right cleats and adapting to the conditions too, which I think Mitchell Schwartz said on Twitter, which just goes to like Andy Reid's the best coach. He just is.
Yeah, he's so good.
He might be better than Belichick. He is at this point for sure.
I've been saying that like all year about Andy Reid. He's definitely better than Belichick now, right now.
Yeah.
But I'm just like legitimately impressed with how good the team is on every level, every year, also including play calling. And then this run through the playoffs, kind of calling the game for Patrick Mahomes with his slight limitations. But even like, and like people are trying to give like Doug Peterson, the, what's the term for the motion, the comeback motion that they ran, or because Peterson ran it, and supposedly Peterson like gave Andy Reid the tip about like doing it. So they're just trying to like say it was actually Doug Peterson doing it. It doesn't matter. Like Reid,
that's what a good coach
they call them at the right times. You know what I mean? Like you can know all that shit, but you got to know when to do it, when to deploy it, and they always do. Every game too. Well, who's wide open to start the fucking game? Travis Kelce every week.
Yeah, it's like how 2 of those touchdowns, just you couldn't have been more wide open.
Like it's there. I think 3. Well, yeah, the Kelce one, that was just a good route by Kelce on his touchdown. He just torched him. So he got open enough, and then the Tony and the Sky Moore touchdowns was the same motion, the fake motion. Boom, open.
Yep.
Fooled the Eagles. But yeah, and that, like I tweeted, if Sean Payton is half as good a play caller as Andy Reid, I'm excited about like the Broncos' chances this year on offense, because it has just felt like specifically in the red zone, our team lacks creativity and execution.
That's where you need to be creative because the field is so condensed.
And you need to be good. You need to be well coached to execute there. And that went all the way back to week 1 when Denver, 2 different running backs fumble on the goal line.
Yeah, Jesus.
In that Seahawks game. That's 2 touchdowns erased in a game you lost by 1 point. Like the Broncos were bad, but they were so close to being a winning team.
Yeah.
In the same breath. It was just unreal last year. Unreal how they figured out how to lose. And yeah, I think a lot of that would be coaching. I think if Andy Reid were coaching that team, the results would have been a lot different last year. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll say it. I think the one bright spot I thought we were going to get from the Chiefs winning was I thought Andy Reid might call it quits. Yeah. And then you usher in the Matt Nagy era, who I actually don't think is a terrible coach by any means. He got so much shit that last year in Chicago.
He did.
But he also led a Mitch Trubisky quarterback team to the playoffs twice.
Yeah.
Which conveniently never gets brought up. But the drop off.
Did he also want Mitch Trubisky more than Mahomes, though?
I don't know. I don't know if he was the one pulling the. Well, no, he wasn't there. That was John Fox.
Oh, was Fox still there when they drafted Trubisky? Damn.
I think so. Yeah, I think so.
I can't remember anything. And that's why Garrett Bolles will get a first-round draft pick.
Well, I'm going to confirm that for you, but I believe that is the case. Yes, I was right. I'm right. I'm always right.
Yeah. But so Zach, is it Strife or Streif?
Streif.
Zach Streif, he's set to be the Broncos offensive line coach.
Yeah.
Hopefully that's good. We still don't know who defensive coordinator is going to be. They did talk to Rex Ryan. Yep. You and I haven't talked about that. What were your initial thoughts when you heard that?
Better defensive coordinator at this point than a head coach for sure.
Yeah, I don't care. I don't fucking want him. I don't want him at all.
I don't need him. I also don't need him. I don't know how his personality would go over. Especially, I don't know. I think there was a time where he was obviously a great defensive coordinator in Baltimore before he went to the Jets, and he was really good with the Jets for 2 years, and the better part of 2011 too. But I think, I don't know, when you spend too much time in TV as well, there's a big time learning curve, I think, when you come back. And I'm glad Sean Payton was only out of the game for a year, and there's probably some stuff that he needs to catch up to as well. But Rex Ryan's been at ESPN for,
a couple of years.
Might be 4.
Yeah. There's also this weird, because in Rex Ryan, he's a big personality. He's going to say a lot of stuff because that's what's good for TV.
Yeah.
The Broncos were a punching bag, and he was no exception in terms of taking shots at that. I'm not sure that's the guy you want coming into your locker room. I don't really care what the resume is.
He hasn't been a coach since 2016. He's been in ESPN since then.
Yeah.
So 7 years now. 6 years.
Yeah. I would not be excited about that hiring.
No, and it doesn't sound like he's much of a shoe-in.
Yeah, it's like a long shot. I don't know why they actually
where we just should we just do foot jokes for 25 minutes until people click out?
Yeah, sure.
I don't have any.
And what, Sean Desai possibly in the mix still?
Yeah, as well as Christian Parker, the DB's coach.
Where's he from?
Denver.
Christian Parker?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't fucking know. That's why I'm asking.
He's the DB's coach for the Denver Broncos of the National Football League.
He currently is?
Currently, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, he's pretty good.
Yeah. No, I mean, look, I just didn't know he was our defensive backs coach this season.
It's okay.
I thought Russell Wilson was the defensive backs coach.
Yeah, that's why he was spread too thin last season. He had so many jobs.
Asked him to do too much.
Yeah.
Asked him to do too much.
He had to run a charity. It's probably why the charity was so bad.
Yeah.
I was going to say, you're donating 1% to the Alzheimer's Association. It's more than Russell Wilson, I think.
No, it's 23% less.
Yeah.
But it's not a charity. It's a business that we're also giving a little bit of money to. And something came out too, about the charity thing. It was a handful of guys who also won Walter Payton Man of the Year, and their charities were contributing similar amounts percentage wise.
Yes.
So it's it might be a thing where for these player run charity things where it's not that much of an outlier, but if you're comparing them to reputable charities, the percentage is not good. Yeah. And then when you look at the inflated salaries for a minimal number of employees, it's still not good. But maybe they didn't know that, and I'll give them a chance to change that and make it better, because Russ put out a video, but it didn't really clarify anything. It was just classic Russ spin, positivity.
Yeah.
And I think that's, when that information comes out and people are giving, if you give $100 and you find out 23 of those dollars are actually going to the charitable cause, people don't like it. So
Yeah.
They'll make it better, hopefully. If not, I'm sure nobody will remember next year.
Yeah, I'm
throw more touchdowns and people won't care, Russ.
Here's the thing with me. When it comes to my own team, I'm not qualified to speak on it. If this is another AFC West rival, rest assured I would
Josh
want them in
McDaniels
jail.
charity? Oh my God.
Yeah.
Guess what? He doesn't give to charity.
No.
Josh McDaniels, anti-charity.
He steals from charity, I think.
Yeah.
He should start a charity, and it's just lock Jackson Mahomes in a cellar. And don't let him come out until you're done playing football.
Oh my God. Yeah. Wow.
It's so funny seeing Mahomes' dad too.
Dude, I wish Patrick Mahomes was his dad, because his dad seems cool.
Funny. But it's so funny that like you get Patrick Mahomes Sr. and then Patrick Mahomes Jr. and then somewhere along the line you got Jackson Mahomes.
Yeah. Like Patrick Mahomes Sr., that dude seems cool. Like,
yeah,
I could have some beers with him. Patrick Mahomes, personality-wise, he just seems boring to me. He doesn't seem like a bad dude. He just seems like very plain. Maybe he's funny. I don't know. But he's an incredible athlete. He's clutch. He performs. Like, just an insane talent. Comes from a competent dad who
played baseball.
Makes sense. What is Jackson Mahomes' skill? It's annoying people. That's his greatest skill.
Yeah. I would throw his wife in there too.
Well, also good at annoying people for sure. It's funny. But it's a weird mix. It's a weird mix. There was what's that Joey what's his last name? Molinaro?
Yeah.
He did a Mahomes on the Howard Stern show. And he's doing Howard Stern and Patrick Mahomes. It's pretty funny. It's so funny that old Peter Schrager was the top comment under there.
Really?
And he was talking a lot about Patrick Mahomes blowing an opportunity by marrying his high school sweetheart. Because Howard Stern would have been fucking everything that walked if he were Patrick Mahomes. It was just funny to see Schrager saying this is your best work so far in the comments. If you haven't seen it on Twitter, go watch it. It's pretty good. His Mahomes impression A, Howard Stern B, but it's the back and forth.
I feel like a Stern impression's kind of hard to do.
Yeah. He has like the voice is, I think, hard to land. The mannerisms and what he says pretty spot on. But
yeah, I feel like you have to smoke a lot of cigarettes to get Howard Stern.
Interesting. Yeah.
That's I don't know. I've never been a Stern head or anything.
Yeah. All right. So Garrett Bolles, maybe it's not Garrett Bolles. The other guy's name they use is what? Draymond Jones. I don't want to see. If you had to choose,
just keep them both.
Well, yeah, keep them both. You can only keep one though. I say you keep Dre because we basically played all of last year without Garrett Bolles. Wasn't necessarily good.
Work. I don't know about that. It wasn't good with him either, really.
Yeah, it wasn't. It wasn't like they were rushing for 200 yards a game, or Russell Wilson was lighting it up without Bolles.
Do you think it's easier to find defensive end, a 3-4 defensive end, or a left tackle?
I guess I don't know enough about this upcoming draft. I don't know which position's deeper right now.
We should have a draft expert on the show.
Yeah.
So at some point.
I just feel like we know the defense was working.
Yeah.
And Jones was a pretty big piece. Also, he tweeted that he fucking hates the Chiefs. So
I did like that. Yeah.
I did like that a lot. He also had to tell everybody to chill because he never liked the "Let's Ride" catchphrase, and he got a lot of heat for that. But
honesty.
Yeah, keep them both. Let's try and keep them both. And Unless if you get a first rounder for Garrett Bolles, you taking it?
From who?
I don't know.
From the Bears.
What do you got to get?
From the Chiefs.
No, the Saints just give us back. I want that draft pick to change hands one more time.
I like that.
Yes.
Yep.
And they give us Ryan Ramczyk.
The sisterhood of the traveling draft pick.
Yeah. You think Derek Carr goes to the Saints or the Panthers or the Jets?
I think you might have sold me on the Panthers with the video / script yesterday. I think that's just a good fit. With Reich's just the dude, I think, and their personalities seem like they would fit pretty well together too.
Yeah, but maybe that was a problem. Carson Wentz and Reich had the connection, didn't work.
Yeah, right. Wentz, he doesn't get along with anybody though. Just because he's a Christian doesn't mean he's
good.
Yeah, like I don't think he's not a good guy. I just think he's probably tough to be around. He sounds kind of
it sounds like there's some issues there, but who knows?
Yeah.
All right. Well, we should know a lot more about the coaching staff later this week. Maybe we'll bang out another podcast. If not, we'll see you guys next week. We are in the offseason.
Welcome to the offseason. Feels good, doesn't it? Not really.
Yes. XFL. We'll be on XFL Monday with the best and worst of it. I'm going to drop a XFL power rankings too this week. So,
yes.
Nothing more fun than power ranking shit you have no idea about.
Yeah.
All right. Good night.
And John Elway played his entire career without an ACL.
And good luck.